Howdy everybody. It is Wednesday, August the 12th. It's a bright and sunny day, and we got a few projects that need to get done that are going to be worked on. One of which is me changing my mind on this old park bench. Yeah, we're going to take the cast iron bits up to Idaho Powder Coating in Kimberly here and get that done and sand down the wood, put some linseed oil on it, put it all back together and set it back out at the creek and start the landscaping for this down by the creek. We've got a few other things going on. We're going to start doing some repair work on the barn this week. We've got irrigation, more irrigation stuff coming up. I know you're probably getting sick of it, but that's one of the things we got to do here at the farm. And a few other projects coming up. In fact, I even talked to a guy about getting a bid for painting the big barn today. So, a lot more stuff coming up, so stay tuned. I left that flimsy spacer rod in there. Probably shouldn't have, but yeah, it's in there because powder coating will fill up the threads that are on the adjustment nuts here. And I'll take it apart if they want me to, but if they can leave it all together, sand the whole thing and powder coat it as it is, we're gonna go that route. So let's go on a little road trip. They're tad busy today, so I won't bug them. But we got it dropped off and they're going to have it done shortly. I'm not entirely sure what this wood is, but as you can see, it is all but very dark where it's been coated with linseed oil. And this is the front side. It's turned gray. And it's been lightly sanded, but you put linseed oil on it and it just about turns black as well. So I don't know what it is, if it's a mahogany or just what, but yeah, it's very dark wood, so it'll go nicely with the crackle finish. It's the black with the bronze cracks that shows through it. I think that's what they called it. Anyway, I'll find out for sure when we get the iron back from Idaho Powder Coating, and I'll show you the finished product. Won't be today though, it'll be in another video. I imagine it'll take them a couple of days to get it sandblasted and put the powder coat on it and bake it. So yeah, anyway, I'll continue on doing the linseed oil on the wood. Alrighty, there is the backside all finished up. You can see how dark that is. And it's got a grain. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of open. It's kind of almost like a oak of some sort. Here's a little better view of it, maybe down here on this end of that one. Yeah, not entirely sure what that wood actually is, to be honest with you, but anyway, it has always been very dark like that, even with sanding. So I don't know that it's a stain or whatever, but yeah. We're gonna let this side dry. That's the hop of the finger. Anyway, we're gonna let that side dry and flip them over and do the other side here after a bit. Well, the pond is super full today because the pump hasn't been running. I need to get some lawns mowed, in particular some of the weeds and whatnot knocked down here on this side of the pond. But as a part of an experiment, we get through here. That quaking aspen still isn't doing very well. Anyway, I started filming the other day my exploits at creating a waterway down through that area. or a grassed waterway. Well, the scoop on the back of Stinky didn't have enough weight or downforce or whatever, so I was just making a bigger mess and tearing up equipment. But as you can kind of see what my game plan was, we do have a little bit of a path for the water to follow, and that is actually watering the first of our little bitty pine trees and the first 3 big ones. So eventually I'd like to continue that on down the line, clear to the end, and rig up an overflow on the pond, so when it does completely full like I've got it today, it will flood that area down there and water those trees, so I don't have to run the pump to do it. Speaking of running lawnmower through all of this mess, I have got to get all of this poly pipe unhooked from the old PVC manifold that's down under here, so I can get it out of the area so I can mow up all the grass and spray for some weeds. So that's on the next to-do list for today. I could just undo the little worm drive hose clamps on the poly pipe, get it off that PVC, but I'm going to just simply cut it today with these new cutters, just to get it out of the way fast and easy. I can work on removing that a little bit later, the little stub piece and the worm drive clamp later. Okay, there is the original irrigation manifold. That was put together with a piece of 3/4 inch poly pipe, about 300 foot long, to run down here from the house to run the lawn sprinklers. So yeah, we're not going to need that anymore. We're not going to use that anymore. May use parts and pieces, but yeah, that part's done. And now we'll get all this pipe out of here, and eventually we'll get some sprinklers put in all this mess. What the idea is to pull all that poly pipe up that runs from the pump house east and put it in correctly and plumb it all together instead of having separate circuits. That way all the sprinklers on the south side of the pond and the creek will be all on one valve that is controlled by the timer that we're going to install in the garage. I've got the 300 feet of poly pipe pulled out. It runs out yonder there a ways, and regrettably it got kinked when I was pulling it from the house down to here. In a previous video you probably saw it. Anyway, that is the kink, and we're going to take the little cutters and we're going to pardon the jiggle there. Anyway, we're going to take the cutters and cut that out of there. It's about the only thing we can do with it now. So yeah, we'll just work. Sorry, this video's jiggling. That's something you don't really want to do one-handed. Not a real super clean cut, but at least we're getting rid of the actual kinked part here. And that's the main goal, because that will never properly hold pressure, and that'll be the first place something will go wrong and a leak will occur. One of the goals of pulling up that 3/4 inch poly pipe was to attach down here to that nipple right there. Unfortunately, the poly pipe is 3/4 inch, and that adapter on the end of that PVC right there, it's got electrical tape wrapped around it, plug it, that's 1 inch. Now that line I had intended to run over to a garden area for irrigation water if I needed to use a hose or something. So instead of replacing all of that with 1 inch poly, I may just get a different adapter there and go from the 1 inch female adapter down to a 3/4 inch poly barb thread deal. Last year we had garden plots out here in this area, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to move them over that way and put them on the other side of the driveway entrance that's right there. So we're gonna have to run a line over there so we got some hydrants that we can hook garden hoses to. Because of the tall growth in some areas there around the pond, I think what I'll do first is get in there with the riding mower and mow it, and then follow that up with the push mower with the bagger to clean up all the clippings and around the edge of the pond some, where there's stuff growing right around the edge there. Oh, we got the area around the south side of the pond all mowed and cleaned up a little bit. Got that sprinkler right there that we need to relocate over around that sunflowers growing there at the edge. That one will water this area. We'll need to install another one over here by that poor European elm that isn't doing very well. And then we've got one back that way on the other side of the sunflowers there in the quaking aspen. So we're gonna try to get all that tied together here. That'll be another show. Well, this sprinkler's finally had it. The little trip wire that hangs off the bottom here that works on the levers to make it go back and forth, it broke. And this one is also, if I pull the little gaskets down, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's fairly well worn in here. So when this thing pops up, it wobbles badly. So yeah, it's just about shot. If I can find a new tube for the bottom of that, some new washers, I'll rebuild it. In the meantime, I'm going to install this plastic impact sprinkler. It's probably a yard sale pickup kind of a thing. And we're going to install that on top of this tower. Put a little Teflon tape on it. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey kind of a thing. Hold the threaded part in your left hand up and over. That's how you wrap the tape on a threaded pipe fitting. Doesn't need very much, especially where this is plastic going into a metal fitting. It will kind of mush itself in there and make a seal. I realize mush is a highly technical term. And of course, turn backwards until you feel the threads drop down in, which I just did. So we will screw this thing in, and we'll see how long this one holds up. Now that brass orbit, that was here on the farm at least 10-12 years, so I'm thinking these stands are every bit of 12-15 years of age. So yeah, okay, we got that in. I'm going to set it, and yeah, we're going to turn on the sprinklers and see what it does. But yeah, that silly little thing, we'll see how long that holds up in place of that brass orbit. Another little thing I did finally get done today, as long as I had the linseed oil out, was I managed to come down here to the Nelson Creek sign, and we've got it coated. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a spill. I got some on a rock, but if we can help preserve that sign by applying some oil to it and whatnot, even the old horseshoe got a coat. Yeah, it's real dark now. It'll shade up and look nice though when gets a little age on that oil. Anyway, that sign's done, and I think we're going to close up the gates for tonight and call it good, and we'll catch it again tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget down there, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you'd like. And don't forget, the 3rd of October, we're going to have a Vintage Ag Day show right out here. We're going to stir up all that ground and plant some wheat seed in it. So make sure to tell all your friends about it. and come on out. The main gates will be open from 10 to 4, and if you got some goodies to bring to play with, you might even be able to sneak in here Friday evening. So let me know. Catch you later. Have a good one.